pumpkins. Happy Halloween there, Metal Summoners. It is so awesome to see you guys. It's always so awesome to rock out with you guys. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for being always so awesome and so courteous and so loving to myself and Angel. But most importantly, thank you so much for being supportive and loving and just rocking out with all of our guests, supporting the music they put out, supporting them live, and just, being awesome to let them keep doing what we're doing. And we're going to jump right into it with a TMS alumnus, good friend of myself, friend of the show, Mr. Michael Thomas. Brother, thank you so much. Welcome back to the Metal Summit. And again, brother, thank you so much for being down to come back on and get spooky with us tonight.
Dude, I love it. Thanks for having me back. I had a great conversation last time. Always love talking with you guys. So yeah, awesome. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, brother! And so it's been a couple of months since you played the Heritage Festival. That's the last time that you and I got to hang out for a little while when you came in with Steven. And a great show as always, man. And that was just kind of a cool little fly-in for you.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Really cool outdoor event, summer gig. We got to play our full set, just have fun, run through like 2 hours of songs. So yeah, that was awesome. As always, great to see you as well and catch up.
Absolutely, man, for sure. No, I was super stoked about that set too. Also because I know that you always splice at least one of them in, but it was also super great with because of course anybody who sees the band live, are very much familiar, with Steven's GNR back catalog. But it's really cool though when you guys are able to splice in more than just one or two of like the the Back from the Dead songs, Steven's like solo album and stuff, or a fun cover or something. It's cool to get something that's, a little bit more Steven's and also just something that's a little bit more like, current and stuff. So it's always cool to see like a full set and some mix up of some new tunes.
Yeah, I mean, I really look forward to that because when we get to do our full set, we get to take advantage of having the extra time to dive into the catalog and maybe do a couple things that we don't normally get to do. Yeah. So at that show, I think we dove into a couple of the tracks from Back from the Dead. And then I don't think it was at that show, but I think it was at the New Jersey, the Starland Ballroom. We did Mamakin for the first time in like years. So that was cool to throw that curveball in there. And nobody was expecting it, And then we have other songs that we kind of rotate in and out of the set. So I always love it when we have that full like hour and a half, 2 hours just to do our thing and kind of.
Absolutely, because I'm a big One That You Hated fan off that record, so I was so excited when you guys played that song. Because the funny thing is it's I've seen you guys a bunch, and that song's been on the set list a couple of times, and it's got chopped a few times because of course, totally understandable, with yourself and Steven being so popular with the festivals, M3 and things like that. Of course, a lot of that has to do with the fact that those are they're kind of hits driven festivals.
For sure, like you have this responsibility of you have to play the hits, right? And then we kind of have like 3 different sets that we do depending on the time structure, and we try to stick to it as best as we can, right? But sometimes songs get cut just because they extend something a little longer or do an intro a little longer. Like everything is all kind of off the cuff. Yeah. One of the things that I love most about this band is I think like because there's no track, obviously, right? There's no limitations as far as if we want to extend a breakdown in the middle of a song and trade solos or do an a cappella vocal thing, or Steven just wants to do a drum solo. We've got the freedom to do that. So you're never kind of getting the same thing twice. It's always kind of unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. And what's great is our tour manager, Steve Sprite. He's always keeping like a watchful eye on the clock. So we know that we have to check in with him at certain points in the show to see if we're staying on time or if we need to cut something, right? So, what I really like about that is I feel like it's true to the original spirit of the band, if that makes sense. Like, if you hear about those early GNR stories, right? Or if you look at any or watch any of the old videos from like, say, like the Roxy or the Sunset Strip, even before they were signed, it was dangerous. It was unpredictable. Like you never knew what was going to happen. They could play like one song or they could play for 3 hours. You just don't know. So I feel like that kind of wild card element, like it keeps that spirit, or it's true to the original energy. So yeah, like we try to get them all in there, but we also, take moments to just enjoy those moments, and we'll extend things, and we'll just do different stuff that comes up on the spot.
Absolutely, 100%. And before I kick it over to Angel fans, I want to let you guys know. Make sure that you're pumping in your comments, anything you want to say to Michael. We do have him on limited time today. We really appreciate him for that as well. But we always want to be courteous and respectful. So we're going to rock with him for about an hour. But keep in mind, guys, that there is a little bit of a time limit. So any questions, by all means, pump them in. We'll always make sure that Michael answers anything that you guys want to hear from him. Just wanted to give you guys a little heads up on that. And Michael, before I kick it over to Angel, man, it is October. It is Halloween. You're a Halloween guy. What do you like so much about Halloween, and what are some of your favorite movies, man?
Okay, so first part, I like Halloween's always been my favorite holiday, like hands down. And like when I was a kid, I was just enamored with Halloween. I was enamored with horror movies as well. I probably saw a lot of stuff at an early age I probably shouldn't have, So that's kind of got the ball rolling, right? But what I love the most about Halloween these days is usually Emma J and I, my partner in crime, my creative muse, my girlfriend, my better half, we always try to like set aside time to do a Halloween project. So like 2 years ago, we put out the Take Me video, and that was for my first single as far as my solo material. I hadn't released some, new music in a while, so I wanted to get a new track out. But when we shot that video, we really wanted to kind of tell a Halloween story. And it's very evident in the video because it's not a performance video. You won't find a guitar or a drum set or a microphone anywhere in the video. But it was really important to us to tell a story.
Yeah.
And so we kind of cooked up this really cool, like Bonnie and Clyde, but with a vampire.
Yep.
And so that was a huge endeavor because, we shot, edited, did everything ourselves. And it was awesome. So we released that for Halloween. The year before that, we did a photo set of different like inspired pieces from different inspirations from like our childhood and stuff. So, I always wanted to do this Calvin Klein like photo. When I was a kid, that was a real big thing, like black and white. You have these black and white ads with the guys in the Calvin Klein underwear and, the chick in the Calvin Klein underwear.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be cool to do that, but put a vampire twist to it.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing that and a few others. And so this year we've cooked up a new photo that we're currently working on now. We shot about 2 weeks ago, and we're going to be releasing it on Halloween. So if you go to letscountthecities.com, that is our travel blog website. Our LCTC Studios is our photography business. That's lctcstudios.com. But we'll be putting up this photo not only on the respective websites, but also on our social media. So if you go to Michael Thomas team, or It's Michael Thomas on Instagram, or Hey M&J, you'll get to see the release for Halloween.
That's
now,
awesome.
Getting to the second part of the question, my favorite horror movie. Dude, what terrified me as a kid was Friday the 13th.
Nice.
That ruined me. I mean, that totally ruined me because, I remember being a kid and actually going to something.
Yeah.
And that just ruins you. The other thing that isn't so much like a traditional horror movie, but I mean, it's definitely terror, was Jaws. Dude, to this day, I still have a big problem with the ocean.
Dude, it's so funny that you say that. So like, Megan, my girlfriend, my better half, she's all about Jaws. Behind Halloween, because Michael Myers is her be-all, end-all guy. Like, that's her franchise. She loves Danielle Harris and Nick Castle, but like that's her franchise. She loves Jaws. She's a huge Jaws fan. The funny thing is, Jaws is actually what locked me into the genre. So I got scarred as a kid by an old Hugh Grant, like, psychedelic succubus movie he did called Lair of the White Worm, which I love now. But back at like 6 years old, it's a lot to handle when you just haven't matured yet really in any way to be able to process things.
Did you say 6?
What's up?
Did you say 6 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a little young for that kind of material.
So the speedy backstory to it is this is back in the day, like, you know, when we were younger and stuff, and like sleepovers were like a real big thing, you know, and they all kind of had the same basic formula. You know, you designated the house. Those parents were going to be the chaperones. Everybody comes over. You ordered a bunch of pizzas. You took everybody to Blockbuster or whatever, and you turned a blind eye. It was kind of like they choose whatever movie it was going to be. And it was typically always a horror movie, you know, or something like that, you know, something like kind of adult. But again, it's a sleepover. It's for the kids or whatever. So they're going to like turn their heads. And we watched this movie, and it's crazy because it's like, you know, it deals with, like I said, like demons and succubuses and, you know, serpents. It's also, honestly, it's got a lot of phallic imagery too.
Mm-hmm.
So much to process. Dude, I was in hysterics. They had to call my mom. She tore them a new one. And then it was like not long after that, you know, ironically enough, it was like a year later or so later, they were doing movie day in class at school. You know, that one day where one of two things is happening. They're either going to show a movie as like a, hey, thank you for doing your things all year. You know, here's a day where there's going to do no schoolwork, you know, as like a credit to the students, or the teacher was hungover. But my teacher showed Jaws. And I don't know if that makes them the worst or the best teacher ever.
Jury's out on that one.
But you would have thought that I would have just been out for the count for horror. I don't know what it was about Jaws, bro, but that locked me back in, and then I never left.
Nice. So on the horror movie theme, I'm going to give you guys one that I watched just last night, and I'm still kind of scratching my head, but you may have heard of it, considering you guys are horror buffs. It was called The Vampire Happening.
Yes.
Have you heard of this movie?
I have.
Okay, so it's like this campy 70s vampire movie. And it's almost kind of along the lines of like a Russ Meyer, you know, kind of like Beyond the Valley of the Dolls kind of vibe to it. You know,
a little kill feel to it.
Yeah, and you know, just that whole, in that genre, it was like, you know, I don't know, kind of the gratuitous kind of like TNA and mixed in with the horror. So anyways, I ran across this a while back, and then it popped back up on my Amazon Prime yesterday. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Vampire Happening. I watched the trailer. It was totally ridiculous. But they had this vampire band playing this party. And I'm like, well, okay, this is like this 70s themed campy thing. I got to check this out. It's bizarre. If you've got like, you know, 90 minutes to kill, and you don't want that 90 minutes back because it ain't coming back, you should watch it and tell me what you think. Because
I will.
You've ever seen like Beyond the Valley of the Dolls? They had like the Strawberry Alarm Clock, you know, special appearance, and they're jamming in the background in this psychedelic 60s party. Everybody's frying on acid and all sorts of crazy shit. Like, those movies fascinate me and terrify me as well in a weird way. Like, there's some of that 60s stuff that just seems a little off kilter to me.
Yeah.
So in its own way, it's kind of spooky.
For sure. Speaking of vampire bands, have you seen the movie Suck?
I haven't, no.
You would like it. You would like this then. So it's a much more modern movie, but it has like Alice Cooper in there. It's got Dimitri Coates from like Burning Brides in there as like a vampire, and it's basically about this band that's like struggling to make it. They're cool, but not like just not making it. And the bass player becomes a vampire, so she's vamping out, and the band's kind of reserved, and then eventually they all kind of give in. But it's not like that campy horror, you know, comedy feel to it and stuff. Like a lot of like goofy scenes. Like there's this one scene where the lead singer finally gives in to the rest of the band and becomes a vampire too. And he's kind of stressing out about everything. And like the band is all feeding on this girl in their green room. And he's like stressing out about things and like wigging out. And the guitar player just looks up at it. He's like, dude, have some groupie. Like you'll be fine. It's just it's really out there. But like I love that movie. It's super fun. Megan and I watch it a lot, and so we really really love that movie for sure. But Angel, let's bring you in, my friend. Let's kick it up to you for a bit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just want to say, Michael, thank you so much for joining us for the Halloween episode.
Thank you, bro.
But damn, you're right about Friday the 13th. When I first seen it when I was 6 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I had a fucking nightmare that Jason came through the door and I could not watch it ever again.
Oh, dude. I'm right there with you.
And Jaws, whenever you go into the ocean, you're thinking about the movie.
Always.
That's the hell away. Well, I go into the ocean, but I don't go in too deep.
I'm the same way. I was actually just in Panama City, Florida about like 2 weeks ago. And yeah, man, I think I went up maybe to my knees and I'm like, all right, I'm cool. And I grew up on the West Coast, man. I grew up in the Bay Area and then I was in LA for, 20 something years. So, I'm no stranger to the ocean, but man, it just makes it tough when you've seen Jaws. It's hard to go back.
And here's a tougher question. Myra, thank you for joining us. Hope you're well. Night of the Living Dead or Psycho?
Oh man, those are both so good. Like I love a good zombie movie, and Night of the Living Dead obviously is that's the first classic. Psycho. You gotta. There's a certain charm to that, and that's more, I feel like, psychological, right? It's not the gore factor; it's the psychological factor. So, anyways, just from an aesthetic, I'm gonna go with Night of the Living Dead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And have you guys seen Black Summer? That first season, intense.
I just got the second season, and since I buy anything vampire, especially like for like movies and stuff, just for the sake of my collection. But I just got in the mail the second season of that AMC Anne Rice Interview with the Vampire Show.
Okay, yeah.
And that thing's been really cool.
Oh, good. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely have a question going back to M3 2019.
Yes, sir.
That was the first time a lot of people saw the new singer at the time, Ari. So my question is, because it was kind of weird. Your band came out, and everybody was just standing like this, not knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
We hear the first song, and by the second song, everybody is like, "Yeah, yes." Sorry, but that was like the reaction.
Sure.
From the first song to the second song.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, what was your nerves like before the show? Knowing that I'm sorry, let me rephrase the question. Because I was too excited back then, still excited now. So let me rephrase the question, take a deep breath. What was going through your mind before M3? Playing with Ari?
Honestly, okay, so here's a weird thing about that. We were just so excited to play again, dude. Wait, okay. So you're talking about the M3 that was, are you sure it wasn't
2019?
2019. Are we sure it was 2019? Maybe it was 2019. How many times have I played M3 now? Sorry, I'm just trying to get the shows correct.
Yeah, I remember 2015 Adler played when it was like the Adler band.
Yeah, no.
He had that was back when Lonnie was with him, and I believe he had Johnny on bass for that one. And Jacob Button. That was 2015, I remember for sure.
I want to say, I'm trying to get my dates straight here. So, okay, if it was 2019, I want to say it was right when things started opening right back up after COVID, right?
That's so 2019 is the year right before COVID, because that was 2020.
Right. So then the M3 that I'm thinking of, was it the one? It was the one after COVID, right?
Because the one after COVID, that was the 4th of July weekend one.
Yeah, that's right.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
So
Yep.
is that what we're talking about, Angel? Are we talking about the 4th of July right after COVID M3?
The one that's 2019, because
It is
remember,
2019. Okay.
then we started the Metal Summit in 2020.
Right.
We hadn't known Ari.
Man, you guys know better than I do, because like my dates are all, it's a wash. I've been doing this for 20 years with Steven, so it's like I try to remember which M3 was that. So you guys know better than me. So if it was the first time we played M3,
Yeah, that was his first M3. Yeah, that was
excited
Ari's.
to be there. To be honest with you, like we were just excited to be there, and we knew so many of the other bands. For us, it was just like it's always a great hang, because you get to hang out backstage and mingle around in the dressing rooms and say hi to guys you've known for years and years and years. As far as like nerves, I mean, we were so confident in the band and its abilities. I just think we just wanted to get on stage as soon as possible and play. So we were just excited to get out there and really show the crowd what we could do, because like you said, a lot of times people aren't sure what to expect. They're like, Steven Adler, well, what's he going to do? So it was amazing. I do remember that. Every year we played M3 has been amazing. The crazy thing is, when we played the next time, that was right after lockdown and
Yep, that was the 4th of July one.
Yeah, this is the one that I was thinking of, because this was significant to me, because we hadn't seen each other in a year and a half. And we literally did a show the night before, about 4 or 5 hours away, like a quick warm-up show. And honestly, I forgot where that was. It wasn't like Pikes Peak, it was something else. And then we showed up to M3. So imagine like not being on stage for a year and a half, having kind of like one quick warm-up show, getting in the van after the show, driving that night to M3, and then doing the show, the next one, that afternoon. That was crazy, because it was like, wow, like getting thrown into the frying pan. Like, here's all these people, and everybody's been cooped up for so long, they just want to have a good time. So like, you don't want to drop the ball, you want to go out there and kill it. So yeah, it was, every time we've done M3 has been a blast. This last time we did it, just what was it, a year ago or something like that, I want to say. Not last year, but the year before. Amazing, just amazing time. And we're always hanging out and, getting a chance to spend time with our friends. And what's cool is every year we've moved up the roster, so like now we're playing later and later, and it's a bigger and better crowd as far as just the volume of the people. No matter if it's like 5 people or 5,000, I feel like everybody just has a great time. So, I mean, that's what's most important to us. And we get to do what we love. So it doesn't matter where we are, what we're doing. M3 is just always a wonderful experience every time we play.
Yeah, because 2021, y'all played the 425 slot. I just know because I did an article on it, so I'm just reading from it.
Yep, that makes sense. So then we played in 2023 as well, right? Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, they didn't have you on this year.
Right, so we must have played 2023.
Yeah, it was last year, because I remember you and I were hanging out, and we were actually having a conversation about your live album you did with Faster, because you were talking about how you actually really liked the photo that they used of you on the CD.
Yeah, yeah, we did that in Australia.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. I was thinking about this the other day, like all the shows that Steven and I have done over the past 20 years. My first tour with him was in 2004.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's been crazy. So many. And what's really cool is like just like the range of different bands that we've gotten to play with and share the stage with. Like this summer has been really cool because we did a lot of shows with Ace Frehley, and Kiss was a huge huge influence when I was a kid. So to go out there and do shows with Ace, and I've known some of the guys in his band for a long, long time, like Scotty Coogan. I've known him forever. And I got a chance to meet the other guys like Ryan and Jeremy. So wonderful guys. And it's always like just a fun, good hang. So yeah. And then a lot of shows this past summer with Slaughter as well. Those guys are awesome. So just good company to be with.
Has the band been invited to do any festivals overseas?
Yes, we have. And, we're trying to work that out because it's been a while since we've been overseas. The last trip was Australia, and that was like 2017 or 18, I want to say. And that was with a different lineup of the band as well. So we're trying to kind of figure out, what's feasible to do. We used to do these monster like European tours. Like the last one we did was like 6 or 7 weeks. And, with everybody's schedules and, everything that we all have going on individually, I think it's just a matter of kind of trying to figure out what fits in the schedule and what makes the most sense. But I'm hoping that we get back to Europe soon and then also South America, because we used to play South America quite a bit. And, the people, the crowds, the venues, everything down there is amazing as well. So hopefully we make that trek as well.
Yeah, especially because Ari's from Argentina. So
yeah, what's funny is Ari had seen us play in Buenos Aires years ago. Yeah, and that was obviously whatever 10 years before he was in the band. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, that was when he was playing a couple of songs with Guns N' Roses, and he was in town, and I guess Ari got up on stage, and they were just doing songs.
That's when Steven met him. Yeah, but we went down there to do our thing a lot back in like 2008, 9, 10, and 11. And it was somewhere in that time frame that Ari was actually at our show in Buenos Aires. At that time, we had, I think, Rick Stitch singing for the band. Alex Grossi was the other guitar player in the band. So it was a different lineup, obviously. Chips Enough was playing bass.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've had different incarnations of the band for a while. When I wrote the song Alive that went out with Steven's book back in 2000 and I think it was like 2010. At that time, Chip and Alex were in the band.
Yeah, you guys played a really small bar in Baltimore at that time called Bourbon Street. And that place was so cool. I miss that venue. It's not around anymore. But yeah, I have the little kind of like CD single mini LPs that you guys were doing at that time with I think it's like a white cover with like a red eagle or something, I think, or like something like that. But it has Alive on it and all that kind of stuff.
I think there's like 3 tracks on that one.
Yep.
Oh, someone has a good question. Where did you get the chair from?
I searched for this thing for a while. It's kind of a funny story. So when I bought my house, I figured every castle needs a throne, right? So I committed myself to finding like a really cool Gothic throne chair. And I actually got super lucky. I had looked all over the place online. I had found companies in like New York, a couple on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and I'm in Dallas. And I kept digging and digging and digging, and I actually found a place that was maybe 10 miles from my house. So I went down and picked it up that day, and they delivered it. So it was a place called Chiseled Perfection. I don't know if they're still in business, but if you're ever online and trying to find one, try that website.
Yeah, I got you on the bigger screen so everyone can see how really cool that chair looks. What do you like the most about touring?
About touring? by far is just getting to see the different cities and meeting all the different people. What's really cool is I spent so many years on the road touring that I feel like I have friends all over the world. So whenever I travel, I can always call up some friendly, familiar faces and catch up with people I haven't seen in a while. And it's been amazing. I feel like I have just as many friends overseas as I do here in the States. Just because, again, I spent so much time overseas playing. There would be years where, I would just kind of back-to-back things with Steven and Faster Pussycat. So I'd be out on a tour of the U.S. with Faster, and then we would come home. Faster would go on a break, and I'd go do that same circuit with Steven. Same thing with Europe, Japan. So I was always working and always getting the opportunity to meet some really incredible people and see incredible places. So definitely the travel and meeting so many amazing folks.
Speaking of the travel, when you're traveling overseas, how does that mess with the time zone and jet lag? Does that ever mess with your body? Or
Yeah, I mean, that can be tough because there's definitely been times where we've, say, flown into London and then we had a show that night. So we'd take the red eye. We'd leave LA at like 4 or 5. We'd get into Heathrow the next morning and go straight from the airport sometimes right to sound check. From sound check to the hotel, quick shower change, and then you're back at the venue for the show. So you got to really be able to adjust to the time differences and be able to go at a minute's notice. So that can be tough. That can be tough for a lot of people. But luckily, I've never had a problem with it. And, I can fortunately sleep anywhere. Plane, van, bus, car, whatever it is. So I know that I'll never have a problem catching up on rest no matter, what mode of transportation we're using to get there. So I guess I'm kind of lucky in that sense.
man, I love sleeping on a plane.
Sometimes it can be tough, but it works.
Lisa wants to know where have you wanted to play that you haven't played yet?
Wow, that's a great question. So we've never done anything in Africa, like Egypt or Morocco, and I've always wanted to go there. Like Morocco's on my hit list, Egypt, the pyramids, definitely on my hit list. So I would love to have a gig there because the closest we got one time, we had shows booked in the Canary Islands, which is off the coast, but never the continent of Africa. And I feel like I've been some pretty weird, cool places. I mean, all over Europe, Eastern Europe, Greece, Istanbul, Turkey, obviously the Netherlands, Australia, Japan, Korea, South America. So yeah, definitely somewhere, either Egypt or Morocco would be amazing.
Yeah, good question from Angel Little. First, you and your lady, hottest couple in rock and roll.
Thank you.
Any shows planned for the East Coast?
So I think so. Yeah, I know that in 2025 the schedule is starting to build up. So we're playing in Kentucky on Saturday. So we're playing the Performing Arts Center in Ashland, Kentucky. And then I think that finishes our 2024. So everybody will have November pretty much and December just to take time off and spend time with family and do the home thing for a while. And then right at the start of 2025, from what I understand, we've got some stuff booked. So the East Coast for sure. And, I'm thinking that we'll most likely, fingers crossed, be doing M3 again this year because we didn't do it last year. So I feel like it just kind of flip-flops years. So absolutely. And if you go to my website, michaelthomas19.com, I try to keep it updated as much as possible with all the shows that are coming up. So I'll have the 2025 roster up there soon. And then hopefully we'll see you on the East Coast.
Oh, sorry, wrong question. Have you ever been to Alabama?
Oh yeah, played Alabama. Absolutely. I can't really think of the venue, but I played Alabama probably a number of times, and it may not have been with Steven. It could have been. When I think of like the Alabama gig, I want to say it was probably Faster Pussycat, and it was probably when I was playing with the Bullet Boys. So it was probably those two bands. By the way, I had to use my skeleton cup for this extra spooky edition of the Metal Summit.
Yes.
What band would you like to tour with?
What band would I like to tour with? Oh man, I mean, there's so many different bands that I would love to get the opportunity to tour with. I mean, you know, if I just think about some of my favorites growing up, like a band like the Cult, who are still out there killing it, amazing. You know, I've grown very fond of the band The Darkness over the past, I don't know, probably like 4 or 5 years. We ended up doing the Kiss cruise with those guys, and they were so much fun, and they're so talented. And if you listen to their catalog, it's just tongue in cheek, straight up traditional rock and roll with some pretty, I don't know, I want to say like well thought out and orchestrated parts. There's almost a flair of Queen to some of their stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that too because, you know, like a lot of the bands from the UK, they have that quality. If you listen to the Struts, you know, I think they've got some amazing songs, and there's really some great songwriting and orchestration put into their catalog. So I feel the same way about The Darkness. But Justin Hawkins was just such a wonderful human being, and we got to hang out with that band, you know, throughout the course of the Kiss cruise for 7 days. And I'm very fond of them as people and of their music. I think you may be talking, but I can't hear you, Angel.
Oh,
We got you, bro. You're back.
Jay, I'll kick it right back up to you.
Absolutely, no problem, man. Michael, we've talked about this on our last episode with you, and it's, you know, we've had our conversations about it, but it seems incredibly apropos to discuss it on this episode because it's fun. It's in a lot of your photos, and it just kind of is a fun story to tell. So I'd love for you to remind the fans or the new fans. Let's talk a little bit about the Ouija guitar because it's just so cool.
Oh, the Ouija guitar. You know what? That's actually a really cool idea since it's Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Hey, hold on one second. Hey, babe. Thank you. It's on its way. I figured I'll do a visual.
I can hear you, so I have my hand like before.
Yeah, I talk kind of loud. There you go. You're talking about this one, right?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, this Les Paul, this was a custom artwork that was done for me. And the artist's name was Glenn Temple. And I was a big fan of the work that he did for a number of different guitar players. I was able to track him down, and he agreed to do this piece for me. So basically, I wanted to do something that incorporated a Ouija board and then my tattoo artwork as well. So you'll see the skull and the heart with the bat, right? So
Yep.
That's obviously the tattoo that I have here across my sternum. And I actually put this artwork together a number of years ago and really wanted to incorporate it into this piece. So that was what I wanted on the front. And what's awesome about this guitar is this isn't ink. This is actually all burned into the wood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you can imagine it was a huge undertaking. So at the top, he put my name, and then I used the moniker of like 19 on my website. That's my birth date, and that's like a part of all my branding. So he added that to the headstock, and then on the back, with the name Blackheart, which is actually, I'm trying to do this all in one shot here. So it says Blackheart across the roses that I have going across the tattoo. So it's a line of roses with the skull and the heart in the center here. And then on the back, you can see the Ouija board. So what's cool about this is, sorry, there we go. He incorporated the Ouija board and then some custom stuff that I put on there, like Saint and Sinner. You can see at the top.
Yeah.
Instead of yes and no, because that's what I have here, Saint, and that's what I have here, Sinner. And then at the bottom, it's got the numbers and then the farewell with the little bats. And then you can see all the hallmarks of the traditional Ouija board, the moon and the sun, and all the cool little pieces. So I absolutely love this guitar. And I took it out on the road with me for a number of years. But to be honest, you know, after a while, it's like you just don't want anything to happen to it. So I've retired it to my home studio here where I do a lot of my recording. And, you know, I bring it out on certain songs and certain projects.
That's awesome, man. For sure. It's such a badass guitar, and it looks great in all the various shots that you used and stuff. And it's just incredibly apropos for this episode, man. So thanks again for sharing that.
Yeah. Hey, no, that was a great suggestion.
Yeah, man. So you were talking earlier about, you know, when you guys were touring with Ace and you got to know, you know, Ryan and Jeremy a little bit more, and, you know, and you know, they do their rock and roll residency thing that they do also outside of the various bands. But the one thing I wanted to ask about you is, you know, you do your own kind of like jam session as well, you know, in Vampire Karate Club. And how's that been going? I mean, you are constantly on the road, you know, not only are you and Emma, like you said, traveling for your travel blog site that you do, but, you know, of course you're heavily on tour. How has it been going with VKC? You know, are you still able to put on shows and get together with your mates and colleagues when you're able?
You know, as much as possible, but it's been tough like the past year because we've had such like a busy touring schedule. This summer was pretty nuts. And like you said, it's trying to get everything incorporated. So outside of the travel blog, you know, the shows, the different art projects, the photography. So it's been a little crazy. I want to get back to more of it in 2025. But, you know, to be honest with you, I've been also writing and recording a lot of new music as well.
Nice.
So it's juggling like so many things at this point. But, you know, much like Ryan and Jeremy, I would love to have just a home-based project to get out and just play for the sake of playing, you know, whenever I am in Dallas or whatever I can take out on the road when time affords. So it's just a matter of priorities right now and trying to juggle everything. I mean, I guess, you know, I can't complain because I'm busy. But yeah, I'd love to do more of that.
That's awesome. Is there any current recording and or writing planned or in the works right now with the Adler band that you're able to talk to us about?
You know, we've actually done a bunch. And, you know, it's been kind of an ongoing process over the past couple of years. And I think it's just kind of a matter of sorting through the material and figuring out, okay, what we want to kind of polish and release. But we've demoed a ton of stuff. As a matter of fact, about like 3 months ago, we were in LA at Robbie Krieger's studio, and we were putting down some tracks at that time. And our rhythm guitar player AJ, you know, he spends a lot of time in the studio. He's an engineer, and he does a lot of work out of Robbie's studio. So we decided to go in there, and, you know, Stephen felt very comfortable in that environment. And it's a great, great studio. So, you know, I think it's just a matter of continuing to refine the process and kind of dwindle it down to what we feel strongly about.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wouldn't doubt there'll be stuff coming. I don't have a time frame right now, but I can.
Sure.
We've demoed a ton of stuff.
How like, and this is kind of like for you personally in your thought process and brain, how do you like putting out music? Are you a singles to entice or singles to just constantly put out music, or do you like doing, you know, EPs / LPs if the time and the songs, manifest to that? How do you look at new music releases?
I do like putting out like an EP's worth of songs, because I feel like that's digestible. Anything more than that, it's not like back in the day where you put out, 10, 12 songs. Uh, Obviously, attention spans are shorter. The way things are done is much, much different. So, I would hate for material to kind of go by the wayside and not get its fair attention.
Mhm.
So I'm a fan of releasing a collection of songs. It's funny. I find these days though, and it's getting a little much. Like people will tease stuff months and months and months in advance of putting stuff out, and by the time it actually comes out, I feel like, haven't we already talked about this? It just feels really weird to me.
Sure.
And they'll just drag stuff out for a single, or they'll drag stuff out for a record. And I get the marketing ploy behind it, but I think it's gotten to a point where it's a little over the top.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, get the music out to the consumer and get out there and play. That's what I would do. So, I'm much more of the EP mindset and, give people, 4 or 5 songs to enjoy. And instead of teasing them for months on end for one song, and then, okay, we've done that. Now we're going to give you 12 more teasers until we release this song. It's like, cool, man. If that's what you got to do, I get it. It's not the way I like to do it.
Absolutely, man, for sure. And one more question in this segment for me, fans, last call for alcohol, guys. Michael's been very gracious about his time, and we want to respect that on his end as well. So it's last call for alcohol. Final questions, comments for Michael. Pump them in now so we can make sure that we get them asked to him, and he can answer those for you. Since you do the travel blog thing, and again, steering it back to Halloween, are you guys into like haunts? Do you like creepy places?
So Emma does, for sure. As a matter of fact, she'll go, ghost hunting and do all that cool shit, like, paranormal investigating stuff. We were supposed to go to a place actually here kind of outside of Dallas called Hell House. So she ended up going. Unfortunately, at that time, I got like really sick and I didn't get to go. But that's definitely her bag, and I'm totally into it. So yes, as far as like, going out and doing those things, I prefer that probably to more like, going to a haunted house. Because I want to be in like the real environment and just kind of poke around and see what's out there, see if you can get something to happen,
Yeah.
I'm kind of fascinated by that stuff.
That's awesome. Absolutely. Angel, let's kick it over to you, my friend, and we'll do our final spin.
Our final spin, again, we got 3 minutes. Again, just be respectful of your time, Michael. We really appreciate having you with us for any amount of time.
Of course.
So we'll knock out the fan questions in 3 minutes, believe it or not.
All right.
Okay. From Lori, is Ari the main vocals or are they shared with everyone?
So Ari is singing all the main vocals because the catalog is really a large percentage of the GNR tunes. So there is, backup vocals here and there that either I'll do on some of the songs or our bass player will do on a couple of songs as well. But there's not a ton of songs with harmonies. Guns N' Roses wasn't really a harmony-driven band, It's just really that growling, screaming, aggressive vocal. And he does it, and he does it very well.
Awesome. One word to describe you as a musician.
Wow. Ooh, shit, that's tough. Man. What? One word. I would say dynamic, because I do a lot of different things and I appreciate a lot of different things. I'm very eclectic in my music styles. So, I've done everything from like rock stuff to pop stuff. You can see behind me on the wall over here. Sorry, the camera's backwards. So if I'm pointing to things in the wrong area, I apologize. So like over here, this was the single and video that I did with Snoop Dogg. We wrote a songs together and did a video. Obviously, Brand New Machine, which is more straight up rock. Along with, I've got CDs that I did with Faster Pussycat here, Beautiful Creatures, and a number of other bands. But, you know, I've also done stuff with people from like American Idol and The Voice, more kind of pop stuff. I've done country sessions. I just, you know, I appreciate a well-rounded paint box or toolbox, paintbrushes to pull from. I just think it makes you a better, more well-rounded like songwriter and an artist. So, yeah, I think dynamic.
And okay, another few questions. If you could turn back time of musicians are no longer with us, which 5 would you want to meet and play with?
Wow, what 5? I mean, there's so many. Like, I think John Lennon would be amazing because he was such an influential songwriter, and the Beatles accomplished so much in such a short period of time. Hendrix for sure, because I feel like he was really one of those pioneers of, you know, bringing that rock guitar vibe to the world. I don't know if Tiny Tim is still alive, but I watched a documentary on him and talk about a kind of a strange, spooky character. You guys familiar with who Tiny Tim is?
Yeah, I know exactly who he is. I believe he did pass.
Yeah, I'd like to have a drink with that guy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Let's see. I got 2 more, right? Les Paul. For obvious reasons, I'm a Les Paul player, and you know, he was the king. And then, God, so many.
I know he's a bass guy, but I feel like you and Phil Lynott could have a great conversation.
Oh, dude, I would absolutely love that because I'm a huge Thin Lizzy fan. But you know, here's a curveball for you. It's like I would love to talk to George Michael. You ever watch that documentary on him?
Oh, I love George.
What an amazing story. You know, like I was not familiar with, you know, his story. The songs, yeah, Wham, and then his solo stuff. But he was an incredible songwriter and producer. I had no idea how hands-on he was with that. In Excess, Michael Hutchinson would be another one. That would be just absolutely amazing. Prince, oh my God, talk about the King of Kings. Prince would be amazing just to have 5 minutes to sit down and pick his brain.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what an amazing performer, singer, songwriter, guitar player. I mean, he was just on top of everything. And he wrote so many songs for so many different people. I mean, yeah, when you really stop and think about it, I mean, the list will go on and on. I think I probably gave you 6 or 7, but yeah, I'd say you've got the weird choices, then you've got, you know, the more creative choices, but those would be some of my top picks.
Nice.
You guys think you will be doing another cruise in the future?
You know, I really hope so because we had such an amazing time on that Kiss cruise. And I don't know if they're doing those anymore. That may have come to a wrap with the, you know, the touring. But there's other cruises out there. I know there's a bunch that happen, and we have our folks actively looking into it. So fingers crossed, you know, we'll be getting back on board a cruise and doing that whole thing again soon because that was a blast, and I'd love to do it again.
Cool. And the final question. Sorry, I went 3 minutes over. My apologies.
No worries.
Okay, if you could bring a musician back from the dead and sacrifice a modern musician, who would it be?
All right, wait. Let's get right to it. Bring a musician back from the dead by sacrificing a modern musician. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. What a good way to end it.
Okay.
Brian's a dangerous guy.
Okay, hold on. First off, I'm gonna let you guys answer first, and then I will wrap it. So you guys go first on that.
All right, I will gladly go first. I would sacrifice Adam Levine from Maroon 5 for Jim Morrison.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
for me, I need Freddie Mercury back always, and I'm just not what you would call a Beyonce Destiny's Child fan. It's not personal. It's just not for me.
Wow, taking out the queen bee.
Yeah, but for the original Queen Bee.
Yeah, nice, nice move. I like it. Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna phone a friend on this one. What did you say?
Take your time.
Huh? But for who? I only got one half of the equation. Give me a second.
Take your time.
That's for friends.
Oh yeah, okay. That seems like a no-brainer. So we're gonna kind of incorporate the last question with this question. So I'm gonna go with bringing back Prince, and I'm gonna let Taylor Swift go. So I really like musicians who entertain. I think some of her stuff's getting a little out of bounds with the entertainment side of things. Listen, kudos to what she's done, but man, I would love to have Prince back.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely an awesome one. Angel, anything final from yourself? Oh, we got something from Lori.
Need a collaboration with you and Tom Kiefer. I could definitely see that.
Oh, that
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Everything I've heard about Tom is that he's a great guy and obviously a very talented musician. As a matter of fact, I did a lot of work with Fred Curry back in the day. So, he and I have been in the recording studio together and put a few songs together for Steven. So it would be awesome to get the chance to work with Tom and maybe we can make that happen.
Again, I just can't thank you enough, man. Sorry for going over by a few minutes, but I was just trying to get to any questions.
Thank you guys for having me back. I appreciate it.
Oh man, always a pleasure for sure, man. Hey, if you and when you're putting out like your solo stuff again, and doing like new videos, if you ever have a dark video that you need a couple more vamps running around in the background, let me and Megan know. We'd be more than happy to add a few more gothy cogs to your videos.
Absolutely, you'll be the first one I call.
I appreciate you, man, 100%, brother. But real quick, man, Michael, before we let you go officially, man, plug yourself, man. Where can you be found, Emma, both of you, and Steven's dates?
Yeah, so we have the show coming up this weekend at the Ashland Performing Arts Center in Kentucky. So if you're in the Kentucky area, Ashland in particular, come out to the Performing Arts Center. Come see us. And in regards to all the things social media, you got to check out my website, michaelthomas19.com. You have to check out lctcstudios.com. That is our photography. If you go to letscountthecities.com, that's our travel blog. So you're going to find a lot of great information as far as like travel tips, destinations, places we've gone, great photos, everything travel-wise. And then in regards to, let's say, Instagram, it's Michael Thomas 19. Or sorry, it's Michael Thomas is my Instagram. Facebook is Michael Thomas 19. God, I get him confused.
That's all right. We got you covered right below.
And thank you. Look at that. What a great helper. MichaelThomas19.com. So yeah, check out the travel blog, check out the photography, check out the website, stay up to date with all the latest tour dates, and hopefully we'll be out in a city near you soon.
All right, hold on one second. Emma is putting all of the websites. Thank you, Emma, for your help.
Yeah,
really
so much.
you doing my job. Thank you so much.
We have so many things between, again, the photography studio, between the travel stuff, between our own websites, and then all the social media stuff, the Facebook, the Instagram. It's just a ton of stuff.
No, absolutely, man.
One more time. Yeah, Michael Thomas, letscountthecities.com. LTC Studios. And on Instagram, it's Michael Thomas 19 on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's a 19 on that though. It's Michael Thomas.
Oh,
forget the 19. Where's my helper?
That wasn't my mistake.
At it's Michael Thomas, no 19.
But Michael, thank you so much, bro. You know, your family, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for spending a little bit of your Halloween with us, man. We appreciate you. I appreciate you, Angel. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you guys so much. And listen, when you go to LA, have an awesome time. Tell DK I love him and wish him the best for me.
I will, man. 100% for sure. Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much. We love you guys dearly. Thank you for supporting the show. And first and foremost, thank you so much for supporting Michael and everything that he's doing, tuning in. Great questions, guys. Great interactions. We really appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to the Mad Shad of the Mad Shad channel on YouTube. He put together our intro. We definitely appreciate him for that. And again, everybody, make sure that you're supporting Michael and Emma and everything that they've got doing, and supporting Steven Adler, who's still killing it out on the road. So thank you guys so much. Just so that you guys know, first and foremost with this announcement, because you guys watched this episode, there's not going to be an episode of the Metal Summit next week. Angel and I are going to do something a little bit more special. Since we're going to be in LA at a show at the Whiskey supporting Kick and Valentina, as well as a follow-up at Fresno, we're not going to officially do a Metal Summit episode next week. So the next new episode will be in 2 weeks. However, Angel and I will be going live with some of the bands from the Whiskey as a special treat to you guys. So we're definitely going to have some fun TMS style for you guys, but there won't be an official episode next week. However, we will see you guys really soon. Make sure that you're following Angel Alamo at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram, as well as his Facebook. You can find me at Salem.vampire on Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook as well. Again, between Emma hooking it up, make sure that you're following Michael and Emma on all of their social medias. And we will see you guys really, really soon. Take care. Have a great, great weekend. Have an absolutely spooky and spectacular Halloween. We'll see you guys officially for a brand new episode in 2 weeks, but we'll come at you live from the Whiskey next week. Take care. Be good to each other. On behalf of Angel, on behalf of myself, and on behalf of Michael Thomas, thank you guys so much. Michael, thank you so much, brother. Have a great show, and we'll talk soon, man. Thank you so much, Metal Summoners. We love you. See you soon. As always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.